Hey everyone, it's Mr. BoomStick XL from Double Barrel Gaming, and on today's new video, we're going to be talking about my preview of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. But before we get into the specifics, I do want to say a big thank you to Bethesda for flying me out for this preview, and I am still overwhelmed by their generosity. To have a channel of 15,000 subscribers, I still consider it to be very small. And apparently they thought the channel was big enough to fly me all the way out to LA to spend a significant amount of time with one of my most anticipated games of 2024, and I'm always going to be incredibly grateful for that. There are going to be a total of 4 categories that will make up today's preview video of Machine Games, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, releasing on December 9th, 2024 for Xbox Series XS, Xbox Cloud Gaming, PC, and the PlayStation 5 in spring of 2025. We're going to be talking about the story, the graphics, the gameplay, and the iconic sounds. Let's start with story. Now, the game is set between the events of the Raiders of the Lost Ark, which launched on film in 1981, and the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade that released in 1989. The story follows the original Tomb Raider, and it's set in 1937 as he attempts to stop the Nazis led by rival archaeologist Emmerich Voss, who is seeking to harness a power connected to the Great Circle. The overall plot refers to the mysterious sites around the world that form a perfect circle when connected on a global scale, and it will offer great power, a power that the Nazis would ultimately use to put an end to World War II before it even starts. The game spans numerous real-world locations, such as Rome, Thailand, and the sweltering sands of Egypt, as well as Shanghai and the dense, undiscovered jungles of the Himalayas. All of the locations that I visited during my playtime felt alive and lived in. There were tons of Nazis patrolling the dark streets of Rome and many NPCs roaming around the deserts of Egypt. Now, I want to get into the graphics. In my 2+ hour preview, one of the first things that players will notice is how amazing the graphics are. From the opening scene in Berkeley College to the large open area of Cairo located in Egypt, you will notice the immense attention to detail on the character models, in-game items used to tell the story, and their environments in which this grand adventure is being told. The latest version of the incredible id Tech engine used to power titles like Castle Wolfenstein and the rebooted Doom are on full display, rivaling the insane graphics of Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2. Some specific moments that I recall seeing were the hair on Indy's hands, on the back of his knuckles, when he was holding a recently discovered relic. The facial expressions and eye movements are damn near lifelike, and the motion capture that is being used is on par with what you'd see on the big screen. The game has been confirmed to be running at 60 FPS plus on Xbox Series X with HDR, VRR, and ray tracing. Now let's get into the gameplay. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will be played from a first-person perspective, with some third-person instances during cutscenes, climbing and scaling ledges and buildings, as well as using a boat and a few other instances that we're not talking about during this preview. Now, the use of stealth plays a tremendous part in this adventure and should be considered when traversing each area, but isn't the only way to play this game. You have full free reign to tackle every instance the way you want. The more you make a ruckus, the more attention you will draw to your presence. The control is on par with many of the current generation FPS titles. Taking a straightforward path is fine, but if you are a look everywhere and find everything type of gamer like me, you will be looking to find hidden locations, secrets, and hidden treasures on every level of this game. The hand-to-hand combat feels heavy and meaningful. Every landed punch feels like it actually hurt your opponent. There is a satisfying thud with every landed punch. And of course, there will be a small learning curve as you need to wait for your opponent's opening and then block some incoming attacks. Fisticuffing isn't the only way to fight off your opponents. You can use shovels, 2x4s, pokers from the fire, as well as bottles. Now, the gunplay. This has been a big question with many gamers. Just like the films, it is used at Indy's discretion, though you will alert many guards to your location, making the odds of your survival smaller should you decide to fire his trusty six shooter. Now, make no mistake, how you play this game is entirely up to you, but this is not a Castle Wolfenstein or Call of Duty first person shooter. It is an adventure game that has first person as its way of telling its story. The use of Indy's iconic whip is done perfectly. Whether it's bringing an enemy close to knock them out, or scare off a patrolling guard's German Shepherd away, or even swinging over a giant chasm, you will make great use of it during your adventure. The more you look for hidden secrets, the more the player is rewarded. From mind breaking puzzles to hidden treasures, the player will get to use something called adventure points. And there is an RPG system that I will go into more detail as we get closer to the game's release. Discovered side missions are found by simply reading letters, journals, and other scraps of paper littered around each level. Let's talk about the sound. Any fan of the films will know that sound plays a huge part in the adventure. Whether it's the legendary John Williams score, the perfectly landed punch from Dr. Jones, to the screams of the Nazi or a Nazi falling to their doom, it's a major part of what makes it an Indiana Jones experience, and Machine Games has nailed it. The music has been composed by Gordy Hobb, who has been able to capture the essence of the iconic score from the films. The game's music was recorded by a full orchestra at Studio One on Abbey Road. If you were a fan of John Williams, the original composer of the films, well, you'll feel right at home. You sometimes forget that you're playing a game and often feel like you're watching a new film. Every little audio detail is here, and it feels both familiar and new at the same time. Now, here is a piece of additional information. The Great Circle is set to receive a standalone story expansion titled The Order of Giants following the game's launch. Now, upon its release, the expansion will be instantly available for owners of the game's premium and collector's edition on Xbox and PC. It can also be bought separately if you choose to do it that way as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for my preview of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle by Machine Games. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing. And before you get out of here, don't forget to hit the like button. It's greatly appreciated and it helps more than you possibly know. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.